Hi everybody, it's Monica with American English with Monica. I'm so glad you're here. Today's phrasal verb is a great one, and I appreciate you requesting it. Burn out. So before we get started on the definition for this phrasal verb, I will teach it like a phrasal verb, but I want you to know it's more often used as an adjective. Yeah, and sometimes even as a noun. So you'll want to watch this video till the end because I'll describe it as a verb, an adjective, and a noun. And I'm also going to describe the difference with the British spelling and pronunciation versus the American. I will also give you a less common definition. There's more than, most phrasal verbs have more than one meaning. I try to make videos about the most common uses. So I'll give you the main one and then the secondary one as well. Okay, cool. If you're new here, welcome. Really glad you're here. And let's get started. Burn out, to burn out. So the verb to burn out means to become tired, to become unhealthy, exhausted, sick, stressed from too much work. Now, I know we all work hard every day. So burnout might happen every day, but it doesn't. It's describing when someone becomes really sick, like their health is ruined or very bad because they've been working too much or they've been doing something too much. It's usually work. When you hear this phrasal verb, it's usually because someone burns out because they've been working too much. So the first meaning is to become sick, really tired. A good adjective for really tired is exhausted. It doesn't feel good to be exhausted, but it's a good word to describe it. To become sick, exhausted, stressed, really unhealthy from too much blank. I'm going to say work is the most common, and I teach business English. So when we're talking about people burning out, we're talking about them working so much that they got sick. But you can burn out from other activities. Okay, maybe it's an activity you do at home or a hobby or something you do repetitively often, and now you're just really tired. Maybe it's a volunteer position. Maybe it's watching the news. Sometimes I have to turn the news off or take a break from watching the news because I feel myself burning out. I'm getting really stressed or almost sick from the activity. So, like I said, this is more commonly used as an adjective. So it's hard for me to say to burn out. It's usually you become burnt out. She feels burned out. She is burned out because she's been working so much. So it's an adjective to describe someone's state, how they're feeling. Now, before we go on, I do want to say there are different reactions to the noun burnout. It becomes a compound noun, one word, burnout. There are different reactions. Some people just need to rest. They need a few days to stop the activity and rest. You might hear someone experiencing burnout, the noun, when they're performing, right? Have you ever heard of like a singer that's going on a world tour and on stage every night with their microphone? But they get tired or their throat hurts, they get sick, they're getting burned out and they need to take a break. So sometimes the reaction is to take a rest, maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks, and then return to the activity or the job. But some people, you will hear this in business English, she got burned out and she switched careers. Some people get burned out and they stop the activity, the hobby, the volunteering, the job. They stop altogether and they find something new. So both reactions happen. So if someone is burned out, it might be temporary or it might be time for a permanent change. Now, burned out, like I said, is more common. She got burned out from her job. He is burned out from doing so much volunteer work, and now he's changing. But it's burned with an ED. This is the past tense of the verb. But in British English, the past tense, burnt. So sometimes verbs, regular verbs in British English end with a T. And in America, past tense verbs end in ED when they're regular. But this is one of the words that is interchangeable. They both are correct in American English. And you might hear people say, she is burnt out or she is burned out, and they're both right. We, in America, we use burnt more often as an adjective, right? So for example, if it's a verb, the verb burn, which means too much heat, right? If my arm touched the hot stove, I burned my skin. But if I'm using it as an adjective, my skin is burnt. In American English, we use the T for the adjective. So that's why when we describe people, oh, she's burnt out. She switched jobs, or he switched the activity. He got just burnt out or burned out. You can use either. It's good to know, because you'll see it in writing, you'll hear it, and they're both right. Now, the other definition to mention is when something stops working because of too much heat or friction or light. This is like not a person, this is a thing, like a lamp, a light, or a machine. All right. So something stops working. To stop working, and it's usually due to too much heat, like maybe your phone got too hot and it burned out. Heat, light, friction, like a machine. Maybe your car, the clutch on your car burned out. The lamp where we turn the light on, it burned out. We need to get a new light bulb. Okay, so burnout, the more literal meaning, is when something stops working because it's overused, or too much heat, or the light stopped working. It burned out. Okay? So if you have any examples, especially of the first definition, because that's the most common one, you'll hear this in business English. Maybe you have felt like you've burned out from a job in the past and you had to switch jobs, or have you ever had to take a break from something? Sometimes I do something for a while, like an activity or a hobby, and then I just do it so much that I start to lose interest. So the other way we can use this phrasal verb, I just realized, because I teach without a script and without a plan. I just realized we also use burnout when we're bored. We lose interest. We're not as passionate about something. So it's not sick, tired, and unhealthy. It's maybe I just did that hobby for too long, or in my 20s, I liked going to parties, but now that sounds exhausting. I got burned out from going to parties, for example. Or maybe an art activity or a hobby or cooking or something you've done repetitively for a long time, and now it's not as fun. Maybe you've lost interest or your passion for it, so you find a new hobby or new activity. Have you ever had those days where you play video games all day or you watch TV all day and you just like, oh, I'm burned out from this. I need to do something else. You're not really sick or stressed or tired. You're just bored from that activity. This might not be something you can relate to, but I thought I would just give you a different example of burnout. So, to become tired, stressed, sick from too much work or too much activity, when you need a rest or you need a change, or to lose interest, to become bored and you need to find something new. Or that other meaning is when something just stops working because the light or the heat or friction, something made it burn out. Yeah, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you requested this phrasal verb. If you have examples, questions, comments, go ahead and type them. I love to read them. And thank you for being here. Be sure to subscribe, thumbs up, and like. I'll keep making videos. I'm really glad they're helping. I'll see you next time. Bye.